Rock, you know we have some incredibly big guests, but today it doesn't get any bigger than these two here in studio. My friend, welcome, Luke Stoltman, Europeans Giants Live champion, and next to me, the SBD, 3 times world's strongest man, Tom Stoltman. Let's get spicy in here, guys. Welcome to the show.
The world's strongest brothers are in the house.
Yes.
Boom. Thanks for having us, guys. Yes.
Come in with that enthusiasm.
Boom. Spicy boys.
Let's go.
I thought we were strong brothers, but these guys really
well, let's
trumped us as we came in. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, what was your first impression in seeing these guys?
Massive guys, right? I mean, obviously, I've seen some of the shows. I've seen like all the stuff online, but up close and personal, man, these guys are definitely they're taking up a lot of space,
Taking up a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
That's right. Talking of which, you guys just flew in yesterday.
Yeah, just got in yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so big 10-hour flight. A bit jet lagged, but we're here and first time in Vegas. Always wanted to come to Vegas, and yeah, nice to make it over safely and nice to have a Giants live show.
Well, first time in Vegas. Welcome to Vegas. I know this is not going to be your last. You guys are going to love this town, as the town is going to love you. But that flight over, listen, for me and my little legs, economy plus is business class. Business class is first class. So tell us about your flight struggles on the way over on this trip.
Yeah, it was actually, to be fair, it wasn't too bad. There was a new airline. I don't know if it's Norse Atlantic or something.
Okay.
They've just started doing Heathrow to Vegas direct. So it was economy plus. So when we fly with our wives, it's not so bad, because you can spread out a little bit more, and you're not too worried about elbowing or whatever. But if you're sat next to a normal person, you're quite self-conscious, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was fine. It was good. Kushi, my wife, was there. Tom's wife, Sinead. I've got my little boy over with me as well, little Koa. So he was okay in the plane. He was okay. It was manageable. Got a couple of hours sleep. So just trying to get him into the sleeping kind of time zone as well. Yeah. So it was fine. It was good. I mean, we're here, like Tom says, safe and sound, and just get on with it. Yeah.
I've been following you guys, just and I've seen a few airline flights where it was like the guys in that row must have been terrified as you guys were walking up, like, please don't sit here, please don't sit here.
Keeping the head down.
Yeah, it's like, no.
I'm in this row.
Yeah. I mean, like, that must happen also, right? When you're not traveling with the family, right? It's just like the boys and, whoever's in that little middle seat or whatever is just stressed out, I got to imagine.
I mean, there's a flight back home called Logan Air, so it's just a Scottish kind of flight that they do, like, the 1 hour, 2 hour flights, and usually there it's 2 seats, so usually sometimes they put me and Luke together, and that in itself is bad because I spread out to make myself as big as I can.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable.
You remind him that you're the world's strongest man as well?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time, yeah. And usually when we have someone in the middle again, they just look at us and go, you boys sitting here, and it's not a very comfortable flight for them, but again, I don't make myself small, make myself as big as I can. I want the comfort.
He's not even trying to hide it.
So polite.
He's so polite.
We flew back from one comp with, it was Tom, myself, and Tom's wife, Sinead, from Botswana in Africa. And so it was Tom in the aisle, me in the window, and then Sinead was in the middle. And this is like, we were in economy at the time. And we're like sweaty and horrible, and poor Sinead, you couldn't see her. Like the air stewardess would walk past. Oh, excuse me, sir, would you like anything to drink? And to me as well. They wouldn't see Sinead because she was she was hidden.
She's like this.
Yeah.
Ringing the bell.
Help.
Just trying to get air,
Yeah. So yeah, the flying's it's just I find it really stressful anyway. Like the whole checking in procedure, going through, then immigration and all this carry on, and I don't know. I get like super like spazzed out a little bit when I do that. But it's nice that's the beauty when we travel together, because we kind of support each other, which is really nice, So if Tom's a little bit stressed, I can maybe do a bit more, and then vice versa. So that's the beauty of that that brother aspect, you know, we kind of support each other in flights. Unless when I'm sat next to Tom and he's just massive and putting his elbows over me and eating my food.
I mean, 6'8", over 400 pounds. I need to make myself as big as I can.
You don't need to make
You
yourself.
don't even need to, bro. Yeah.
I want it.
You don't. You are that big. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, like listen, I try to make myself big at 5'6". You're not either there. I mean, what are you trying to do? Like just show off at that point in time?
When they serve the in-flight meal, do you guys get 3 or 4 of those each, or how does that work?
We try and chant 3 or 4, but usually it's just the one. So one's usually what we have. But and even this flight on the way out, the meals were really good, and they filled me up, which is for a 10-hour flight, all right. So 2 meals filled me up. But in-flight flight meals they're not the best, but we take some extra food on.
To be fair, Tom got like a bag of snacks before we flew. It was like
When you say a bag,
all the best sweets in the world.
There we go.
Haribo, Skittles, everything.
yeah, I seen you guys eating backstage. I was like, wow, I missed this sport. I should have not done my bodybuilding route. You guys are just eating everything, Snickers bars and everything.
anything we can get our hands on. It's like that's why it's nice coming over here to the States, because like you guys, you know, in America, the portions are pretty nice, right? So we can get our calorie content quite easily here. And where we stay in Scotland, there's no like takeouts. It's such a small town where we stay, so there's like, you maybe have like one Chinese takeout, one Indian takeout, and that's it. But you come over here, straight on Uber Eats or DoorDash, whatever it is, you're just, or like, just this is amazing.
I seen them deliveries coming into the World's Strongest Man hotel. I was like, fucking this guy, he was back again. Oh, who was picking up the food in the lobby? These two.
Yeah.
It was like a continuous flow.
Even when they walked in my head, I'm like, man, these guys eat a lot of protein.
Yeah.
These guys eat a lot of protein. Because I eat a lot of protein, but like, these guys eat a lot of protein. I mean, what is the calorie count you guys have to kind of, I mean, you guys are assuming that you have to keep your calories to keep the muscle and the fat, right?
That's right.
And I've heard about you doing crazy calorie counts and stuff like that. So like, what does that look like for you guys on a daily, weekly, like you're...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, going to World's Strongest Man, because that's the elite of strongman, but usually I'm up to about 10 to 11,000 when I go out to World's Strongest Man. And again, this is kind of the extreme side of the diet. This is where there's no kind of good quality food, really. It's just burgers, chips, pasta, cheesecake, pizzas. But
sounds good to me.
you know, the first, I mean, so like, yeah, so with first meal, usually in the morning for myself and Luke, is a pancake blowout. So it's basically 6 to 8 pancakes and whatever we want on them. So it can be sweets, bacon, syrup, whatever you want. And then the second meal is burger and chips. That's second, third, and fourth meal. And then the fifth meal is a lasagna and then a big cheesecake as well. So that's our diet for a week and a half when we're at World's Strongest Man. But that's on the other side, like we are healthy. We do have a healthy diet as well. When we come home, I'm on about 8,000 calories and Luke maybe 6 or 7. But right now on 400 grams of a protein source, 400 grams of carbs 4 times a day, and then the only cheat meal I have is the meal before the gym. Obviously, like Flex is, you know, both bodybuilding, he was doing it for kind of looks and stuff, but we're doing it for performance. So obviously, we need that extra quick carbs, the kind of, you know, the food that gets us more energy. So a burger and chips for me before the gym. But yeah, 400 grams protein source, 400 grams carbs. 4 times a day, plus a cheat meal every single day is what I usually do.
Wow. I want to go back to that breakfast. Wait, so it's called a pancake blowout?
Pancake blowout, yeah.
Now, the blowout, I'm hoping it's not what I think it is, right?
During competition.
Hold on, we take a cheat meal every single day? Because I've been seeing online, you guys got some like real legendary type cheat meals, right? So those aren't the same ones you're doing every day. Because I saw some wild stuff online.
That's just day to day.
It was like, yeah.
That's just Tom's normal dinner, really. I'll tell you, there was one, we did an interview a couple of years ago, and our diets have kind of changed over the last couple of years, but we're doing this interview, and it was Tom that was doing it. I couldn't stop laughing at him. He was like, yeah, you know, after World's Strongest Man, we come back, our diet's super clean. You know, I'm only on like 1 cheat meal a day, which is like a burger, then I can have like 4 donuts. So it's like really clean. It's like, it's not clean, you maniac. Like it's just, but like as you said at the start, Flex, for us, it's all about that kind of fueling your body. You know, you imagine a World's Strongest Man, the way it's formed or the way we compete. You maybe do like 2 to 3 events a day. So you can imagine eating like boiled chicken, boiled rice, and some asparagus in between those events. You're not going to get that fuel.
Right.
You're not going to like get that energy.
Extra fat. You need that. Yeah.
You need that kind of just quick, that fast food quick intake of calories, so you're ready to go again. And you know that's where it's a lot different, I guess, from the bodybuilding side of things, because we don't weigh our food out. Usually, it's you look at the pack. Usually, it's just a pack of whatever it is.
They weigh in packs, bro.
That looks big, and we just put that.
Yeah.
Not on grams, not on ounces, packs.
One pack, that'll do. One pack of rice, yeah. That's kind of what we go for. So it's I'm sure there is a science behind it. We do have a nutritionist that kind of guides us with it.
Who is that?
Nathan Payton.
Nathan Payton. Shout out to Nathan.
Yeah, the wizard. It's funny. The first time.
If Nathan can get me on donuts and cheat meals every day, let's figure this out, Flex.
Bro, your face will be twice the size, but you will be strong and big. That's for sure.
It gets tiring though after a while eating that. You know, it is just day in, day out. You're just eating constantly, and you kind of. It doesn't. What did you normally say? Like, oh, food just starts tasting like lettuce. All food just tastes like lettuce because it's
even the good food, right?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So you guys know, and I want the viewers to know this. You know, you consume in the off season a lot of calories. Yes, you're obviously training for. You're doing your off season training. It might not have an event coming up in X amount of weeks' time, but then when you commit yourself to a show, let's just say it's just say World's Strongest Man, right? How does that? First of all, the diet change and the mentality change, because I know you guys have spoken about mentality a lot. I love that, and we love the mentality element of things here. So I'd like to know about the diet change and then how that mentality starts changing going into that competition.
Yeah, for me, I mean, you know, World's Strongest Man's always the show that's on my mind throughout every competition we do. That's obviously the pinnacle of strongman, and it's what you want to win. So for me, the diet starts really clean. Nathan kind of cleanses my body out in the off season, so I'm not really on the kind of the burgers, the chips, the cheat meals. It's a lot more foods that stop the inflammation, or the the chicken, the steaks, the good pastas, rice, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll do that maybe to 4-6 weeks, reduce the calorie wise, just get my body kind of, like I said, the inflammation away, just lose a bit of weight as well to try and get that kind of, to try and get my cardio and all that kind of stuff up as well, because obviously in off season you can get big, but you don't want to be heavy breathing. You don't want to be going into the season unfit and unprepared. So that's my mind. So I'm maybe down to 5,000-6,000 calories for the first 4 to 6 weeks of the prep. Say it's 12 weeks to prep for World's Strongest Man. Then it's the last 4 to 5 weeks is when I really the mental kind of side of things starts taking a kick, because for me, the first 4 to 6 weeks easy, it's 6,000 calories, nice and easy for myself. And then it's, right, I've got a job to do, it's World's Strongest Man. And that's when he really just, it's not like a slow process with me from going from 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 calories. It's 5,000 calories all the way up to 8,000 to 9,000 calories, just like that. So, Friday I could be finishing my 6,000 calorie, and then on the Monday, there's 9,000 calories. You have to start that for 5 weeks. And that's where the mindset really kind of comes into play, because 6,000 calories, you're kind of comfortable with it. Then you go into that uncomfortable, you have to sit there for 20 minutes each meal, munching it all down and stuff. But in the back of mind, that's the mindset of, you have to do this to be the best in the world. And that's kind of all I'm saying throughout it all. But for me, the food is the hardest part of it all, especially going from the 6,000 to 9,000. Just like training as well, peaking your diet, peaking your mindset, peaking everything like that. It's very, very important as well. So for me, it's that. I don't have that kind of slow cruise up to it. It's just going straight from one extreme to another, and just the last 6 weeks is where I'm really tapped in my mindset. I'm really not missing any meals. I write all my meals down. Everything's out in front of me so I can see it. But it always has that World's Strongest Man, World's Strongest Man, World's Strongest Man in my mindset to keep me, so I don't cut corners. Because when you start cutting corners and missing meals, that's when stuff kind of goes downhill. Even if it's so if you miss a meal on Monday, your whole week's going to be then.
I agree.
Out the window. So that's why it's really, really important to have that vision, that goal of you're doing this for a reason. And that's, for me, it's obviously the World's Strongest Man. So.
And to get to those high calories, it kind of has to be burgers and some of these things, right? I mean, 11,000 calories is a lot of calories. I mean, and I've had these conversations with Flex before. When he was competing, he was blending his chicken and rice into ketchup just to get all the meals down. So I imagine it must be hard just getting all that food in.
Yeah. I think that's the difference, isn't it? Because it's with you guys, it's a lot cleaner. Like the bodybuilder, it's super clean. So
all weighed.
When we're calorie dense food, we can have that calories in, you know, a kind of lighter meal, if that makes sense. You don't
It's probably more enjoyable too than chicken and rice with nothing on it, right?
have-
Like he's
Oh, that can't have been nice. That must have been. Whoa.
Well, here's the thing. It goes back to what you just said, right? I had a job to do, and I was going to do it no matter fucking what. My goal was to win that Olympia or defend that Olympia, and whatever was in front of me was fuel. You know, and to what you said, Tom, I would sit in front of my meal for about an hour sometimes, and I would be like talking to myself. The training, the cardio, the suffering, no problem. It's just part of it. But the eating, it's the same thing that we're talking about right now. The eating is such a job in itself. Because we all fell in love with the weight room, right? Or we were attracted to the weight room. But then there was this another element that I didn't know that came with it was, oh, you have to eat all this food. I mean, you guys are just taking it to the next level. But for me, I had no appetite. And I really had to force myself throughout my entire career. So have you guys, I'll speak to you on this, Luke, is this something you struggled with appetite-wise? Because I know you said Tom had his diet change as well. Is that something you guys do together as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're very fortunate on the brother aspect. We do a lot, pretty much everything together, you know, which is amazing. But obviously, Tom being slightly larger than I am, he's on a little bit more.
You're big too, bro. Don't worry.
No, I'm okay. I'm
slightly larger.
yeah, it is a struggle for me. I find it harder when I'm in a warmer climate to get the calories in. So I really struggle, like in the summertime, and it's just that I don't know what it is. It just doesn't do it for me as much. So I'm the same. You know, I'm like breakfast when I'm waking up in the morning. I'm like, right, you've got your 10 eggs, whatever it is in front of you. Got that, then a bowl of porridge or oatmeal, whatever it is. You're like, oh, gee, again. But you just got to consume it. It's just, and it's that mindset, as Tom said. You know, it's World's Strongest Man is our Olympics. It's our Mr. Olympia. It's the pinnacle of what we do. You know, going back to, you remember when you've been young, being like 5, 6 years old, watching it with our parents. Imagine being that, oh my God, he's the strongest man in the world. Like, strongest man in the world, fastest man in the world, whatever. It's one of the coolest titles to have. And like, to think that's what our job is. It's like you had a job to do. And, you know, growing up, it was a dream. It was like a pipe dream. You're like, oh, if I could just do that, man, that'd be so cool. And now we're getting to sit here and do that. So if we can't just, said to you before, just suck it up and get on with it, do our job to the best of our abilities, then we shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. You know, we wouldn't be sat here, Tom wouldn't be sat here as 3 times world's strongest man. I wouldn't be sat here as 2 times Europe's strongest man. So we've got to do that. And that's what Tom does. It's amazing the snap, the switch from the mindset from like kind of 12 weeks before World's Strongest Man. That's like your period, isn't that? 12 weeks. And then it's just full, like, berserker mode. It's like Tom he goes from like being strong and big, whatever, you know, training hard, but to this gigantor, juggernaut guy coming into the gym, and it's insane. Like, I can't speak. You have to see it, you know. It's just that transition. It's just boom, every week he's just going boom, 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 and like everyone can see it around him, and that's where I get my kind of mindset change. When I see Tom do that, I'm like, right, look, it's time to step up, mate. Come on.
So you see the mindset change in him first before you feel it in yourself?
Big time, yeah, man.
You guys inspire each other, right? It's like through training and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm 40 years old in November. I mean, I wouldn't be competing still if it wasn't for Tom. If Tom's 30, he's just turned 30. I'm sitting here at almost 40. Still feel young, still feel amazing. But like seeing this guy kind of come in, smashing the gym, going through all the adversity that we'll get on later on, you know. But like that's true kind of, that's a good shit right there, man. That's what I get kind of pumped up for.
I want to know though, when you said, you know, that 12-week mark, there's a lot of things that obviously the diet and stuff like this, but what is it that you see with Tom more than anything else that you know, like, he's here? What is it?
Just when that belief, that self-belief that he has, it's just like, it's amazing, man. Like, it's funny, like, I don't think I've probably said this to Tom, but every prep, like in Tom's head, he's like, oh, that was brilliant, I just did a PB there. And it wasn't a PB. Like, I know in my head he's done more than that. But every time he's like, oh, that was the best I've ever done at that. It's a PB. So it's that that ability to just tell himself he's better than he's ever been. He's better than he's ever been. So if he's better than he's ever been, he's going to beat everyone else because he's already won World's Strongest Man 3 times, which is insane. But I don't know if you ever noticed that, but it's just in my head. I'm like, I seen you last year do like 6 reps at that. Well, he's just done 5 reps. New PB, smashing it. But it's just the intensity of the workouts. You know, we kind of, you see that intensity and that level of fitness, strength, like resilience. You know, you go into, you know how it is, right? You go in sometimes, you're like tired, fed up. You know, maybe having struggles at home, wife, whatever it is.
Kids.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Life.
Yeah,
right?
life, of course it is. But like, you've got a job to do. Without doing your job, you're not going to have, you know, the house, the wife, the whatever, the niceties that you can do. So, you know, we got to get it done. And that's where, like, I can push Tom and Tom can push me. Like, it's such a cool thing to do. And it's through years and years that we've done this. And it's like, now we get to sit here and chat to you guys on a podcast, which is wild, man. It's like a couple of guys from a little town in Scotland.
Little town in Wales.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's just wild what happens, isn't it?
I seen you guys got the little brother, and he's getting in the mix now too. And so we got another brother coming.
Another Stoltman
Another
on the podium.
Big Harry.
Harry, I mean, I said to him, don't start till I retire because I don't want to happen to Luke what happened. I mean, Harry, I think, you know, he's got a lot of pressure on himself, and he says that, you know, I mean, with myself and Luke, obviously what we've done, and he's one of them, he just likes to be deserved. He doesn't like to be in the limelight. You know, he's off social media, and it is quite hard when people go up to him and go like, are you going to follow in Luke and Tom's footsteps? And there's a lot of pressure on, you know, him as well. He's got a kid, so right now he's enjoying the gym. He is a very, very strong boy as well. We've seen him lift some insane weights in the gym, and I think he could walk into like a Scotland Strongest Man qualifier and, you know, qualify for Scotland Strongest Man. But right now he's enjoying the gym, he's enjoying life, and that's the main thing about it. You know, if you're going to the gym and enjoying it, if you're enjoying life, then just keep doing it. And maybe in a few years he might do Strongman, but for now he's big enough as he is, and I don't want him to.
How big is he?
6'5", man. He's
Come on, bro.
Wait. So how big is he?
Big family.
like
6'5". How big?
6'5". He's about 100 and, I don't know, 120 kilos.
Oh, speak English in pounds.
Yeah, the metric system. I don't know.
I left the UK, bro. Come on.
270 maybe.
260.
Royale with cheese.
Wait, you big is?
About 270.
270?
Yeah.
How old is he?
6'5". It's big.
How old is he? He's 20. He'll be 29 in October.
Oh, is he just younger than you?
Yeah, you're young.
All right. So you had no interest up until recently?
Up until a few years ago. Had he went through a bit of hard times, and he used to work in the rigs, in the oil rigs. So he went for a bit. He had a divorce, you know, all this stuff, and we said, look, come and work with us, you know, work with us in the business. And fortunately, he said yeah. So he's doing all like the clothing stuff, which is so cool to have him doing that. And he's such a solid guy. And then he started training, and it really helped him, like, mentally. You know, a lot of guys, you know, we struggle and whatever, but it gave him a focus, and he's just a really solid guy. Like last year we did in Scotland, there's these historic stones. So there's a set of stones called the Dinny Stones. So really like historic lifting. So we went down last year. It was last year, yeah. And these stones, like, heavy. They're like, I don't know, 550, 600 pound in one hand, and I don't know whatever it is. It's really heavy stones, and people from all over the world come and try them, right? So we went down. There was a Dinny Stone day. So like, I was like, Harry, do you fancy we'll give them a little tickle. Yeah. Let's see what happens. So I went up first. I did them, lifted them up. So it's like a ring, and you've got to do a hook grip, lift them up, both hands, pick them up. So then Harry went up and tried them. So he messed up the first lift, and then he did it the second time. And it was like, see the scream that he let out, man. It was like all that kind of, that stuff that's happened, all that hardship, all the bullshit that happened. He just let out this scream, man. I was in tears watching it, screaming. And then I was so happy because I did it, Harry did it.
The worst thing is I was sunbathing, chilling.
Wait, it's the fucking sun in Scotland.
If these guys are doing it, I might as well go there and bang it out real
I don't
quick.
think there's sun in Scotland to be sunbathing, bro.
It was 12 degrees, mate.
That's the summer, right?
And, Harry did it, and I was like, wow, I have to do it now. And then, but I did a wee 360 spin.
Oh, of course he did, right? Of course he did, just to show her, you know.
Of course, I'm the dad.
Love the outfit still, eh?
Yeah, but mate, you know, I've been around Tom. Sorry, Luke. And when we were looking at Tom competing, there is no prouder brother you have than this man here. Because every time you've lifted, you know, you guys are supporting one another, but I try to get close to him because I love the fucking energy, and there's such a true big brother passion. And when you were talking about Harry too, you could see that excitement in that story when you were telling it. Like,
yeah, man.
it's so great to see, mate. You're so proud of your brothers, and you know, a lot of people will say that, but I watched him physically just get so emotional. Obviously, when he won last time, you know, it was a tearjerker for everybody, right?
Yeah.
But anyways,
that was the first. That was the first time Tom won it. So that was.
so look at that.
You can see it there. So that was me embracing Tom.
Oh yes, that's a dope photo. Yeah. You're kissing him and giving him a hug, right? Yeah.
I'm actually giving him a headlock. Should have been me, mate. Should have been me. But yeah, it's cool, you know, doing the brother stuff, and like I'm 10 years older than Big Tom, and you always be that big brother, right? So it's like, seeing him do. Like, it's doing the impossible, like making the impossible possible. I think that's what Tom's done for so many people in the world, you know. And, you know, being part of that journey and doing my own thing as well, I'm very proud of what I've achieved and what I've done. But seeing what Tom does, man, that's the cherry on the cake. That it's amazing, yeah. Just a beautiful thing that you can do that, you know, with so much. Like, it gets me every time. That's where my sunglasses a lot of time, because I'm tears coming down my eyes.
We still see it, bro. Don't worry, we still see it. Tom, do you ever have moments like just, I don't know, maybe it's just you with a dog or something, and it just hits you? It's like, wow, I'm the world's strongest man, or 3-time world's strongest man.
Yeah, I mean, I do it a lot. I manifest it a lot, but you know, obviously, we'll touch on it again later, but all having autism most of my life, it was, when I went into the gym and when I started this strongman career, it was more just, I was going to do it for myself, do it for the get mentally strong and just be able to talk to people and do something that I love. So to be able to, obviously in 2021, win World Strongest Man for the first time, and then to go back and, you know, defend it, then win it this year for the third time, my thing was, you know, the first two, I didn't keep my trophies in my house. I wanted to keep them away from my house so I don't get too kind of laid back and go, like, I'm the best of what. I don't have to, you know, don't have to work for it. But this third one, I put it in my house, and I put it in a place that every morning when I walk into the living room, and I'd glance at it and go, like, all this hard work, all this kind of sacrifice from the wife, the family, all the time I've, you know, been by myself in the gym is worth it. So, like you said, I take the dogs a walk and kind of pinch myself and, like, you know, I'm the greatest British strongman of all time, and I'm 30 years old, and I've won this 3 times. It's kind of a dream, you know. I sometimes still pinch myself and go, wake up from this dream, because this can't be real. But
it is.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think for me, you know, like Luke always talks about, you know, how proud he is of me, but I also have to say how proud I am of myself with, you know, obviously having a good family, a good support system, good friends growing up, and, you know, my whole life. But to be able to flip autism and stuff on the side, and to be able to do what I've done, and to kind of do it with all the adversity I've had when I was younger and growing up, it's been incredible, an incredible journey for myself as well. So
I'd like to talk about that, since we're going to talk about it obviously in the episode, but since we're here, growing up, did you get diagnosed with autism?
Yeah, so I got diagnosed, I think, when I was 10, 11. I don't really know much about it, but, you know, being diagnosed at that age for me was just, it didn't really change my life, because where we were from was a really small town. The school I went to was really small, and I had a group of friends that, you know, I kind of knew. And I mean, at 10, 11 years old, you're just kids mucking around, playing around. And when I was younger, football was my life. So obviously soccer in America, football back home. But since I was born, all I wanted to do was play football. And I was a normal kid when I played football. So, for example, Harry would sacrifice all this time. He hated football with a passion, absolutely hated that sport. But he would come out for 3 or 4 hours with me after school and play football. My dad worked on the rigs as well. He'd come home, play football with me. Luke would sacrifice a lot just to play football with me. So, and when I played on a football pitch, I could talk to my coach, my players, as soon as I came off. Hood was up, and that was it. And that's the only thing, that's, in my eyes, was the only reason I was living was I want to be a professional footballer. I can make it as a professional. And school, like I said, I was in school, but all I did in school was look forward to breakdown so I could go play football. I wasn't academically smart. I got bullied a wee bit, and then it was kind of doing these episodes at home. You know, when you have 4 other siblings, I think it's because I had a bigger family. Like Luke was very successful in, you know, getting jobs. My other 2 sisters who were older were, you know, boyfriends getting jobs, and then me and my wee brother were kind of the, you know, close age, obviously, and he wasn't acting up like I was acting up, and I was thinking to myself, asking my mum, you know, why am I doing this kind of things? Why am I different? You know, like wrestling as well, WWE. When I was younger, I thought it was real, so like I would actually like jump off tables and physically hurt my brother, physically hurt Luke, and like
bunch of bulls in a china shop. I can imagine.
Can you imagine that house
so it's all
with this guy jumping off a fucking table?
Yeah.
So all this, and then like in shops and stuff, I would like go and smash things. But like, a lot of people just thought I was a misbehaved kid, and how are these other 4 siblings acting, you know, good out in public, and this guy's not. And you know, 12, 13 years old came, and when I started going into the academy, the bigger school, that's when it really kind of started dawning on me. Like, it's like, you know, I couldn't sleep over at my friend's house. I couldn't travel 5 minutes to another town. I couldn't get on public transport myself. Wherever my mum was, I had to be. If Luke went offshore, I had to phone him to make sure he was doing exactly what he was saying he was doing. If my sister was out, I'd have to phone her saying, if she was saying she was going to be at home at 10, she was home at 10:05, I would take a flip out. So all this kind of stuff, my whole life was just kind of planned. It was always a plan, and whenever something went wrong, I would flip out completely. And so 12, 13 years old, when I went into the bigger school, you know, I only was in school maybe 1 or 2 times a week, and this was when it was really hard, because a lot of my friends were like, you know, why is Tom getting extra support? Why is he not doing this school? Why is he getting home at 12, 1 o'clock? Why is he not doing full days? And so I went up to my support teacher and said, look, I need to tell my friends this, because I don't want to hide this anymore. I don't want to have this over my shoulders anymore. And if they're my friends, they'll stand beside me. And went into a room with them. There was like 7 or 8 of them, and I told them, and every single one stayed in the room. I just said, you know, if you don't want to be my friend, there's the door, go out. None of them left the room, and the weight that lifted off my shoulders then, it felt like I was reborn. Like that 13 years of my life were a whole waste, but this is the day that I was reborn. And then, you know, they understood me. I started staying over at my friends for the first time ever. They've put things in place. I did a train journey, which was a 5-minute journey from Invergordon to Fern, and my whole family celebrated like I'd won the World Cup or something. It was these amazing things that people take for granted, but for me it was the hardest things in the world. I said I went to college, in and out of college, in and out of school, in and out of work, but then at 15, 16 years old, that's when another dark place came, because football had gone out my life because all my friends had left and I had nothing. I was like, I'm going to go into care, I'm going to take my life, or I don't know what I'm going to do. And then, you know, it was for 2 or 3 months, I was like a prison. My mum and dad were handing me food through my room. I was just playing the Xbox, and that was it. That's all I thought, right, that's just me. You know, I've got autism, my wee brother's flying, my brother's flying, and my 2 sisters are flying. And then it was Luke that saying, like, Luke knocked on my door at 16 years old saying, you know, let's go to the gym together, let's try something and see if it will make you feel happy. You know, my mum and dad asked Luke, let's try and see what we could do with Tom. And when he knocked on that door at 16 years old, my first answer was, that is the worst. I mean, having someone with autism, going to a gym with mirrors, girls, men, these big guys, and I was like, that's intimidating. Even Luke knocking on my door and opening the door and seeing how big he is, it's like, so you expect me to go to the gym with you, and you said you think I'm going to look like that in a few years. But anyway, I went, and for some odd reason there was a voice in my head that saying, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. I had my hood up every single day I went. The only person I talked to was Luke. If Luke went offshore, I would go myself, but it would be a struggle. But my mum would just drop me off at the door, push me in, and that was it. And then within a year, I got so addicted. I didn't care about the 6-pack. I didn't care about being muscly. It was, I could talk to cameras. I could talk to new people. I was learning things I didn't learn in school. And for me, that was, you know, unbelievable. And it's seen smiles on my mum and dad's faces, seen smiles on my family's faces, and a seen smile on my own face was unbelievable. So, yeah, 17, 18 years old, watching Luke do Strongman and his first competition, 18 years old, I was like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to be a bodyboarder. I don't want to do this kind of posing stuff. I want to lift cars, because watching your brother, it's like watching the Hulk and Superman, isn't it? You know, and when you're a kid, and when he won, and then I did the competition a year after, I think when I was 19, and I came 5th, and I made Luke win the Scotland's Strongest Man in my first competition. I had to load the last stone quicker than the other guy, and that would cement Luke the title. And in that scenario there, I was like, I've just helped my brother. He helped me get to the gym, and I've just helped him win Scotland's Strongest Man
That's
in my
dope.
first year, and then
Goosebumps.
and then let's just say 2021 and stuff. And it's when I started winning World's Strongest Man, I really kind of took control of my autism. You know, I put myself in uncomfortable situations. I turned my gym into a studio. I put different flashing lights in it. I try to get different people to distract me and just do things that made me really uncomfortable, because my first few years in Strongman, I should have been better than I was, but I wasn't, because of the interview stuff, because of the other stuff that came with the sport. But in 2021, when I stood on top of that podium, you know, and like looked down at like the 29 other people and looked and just thought to myself, like, you know, all this kind of bullying, all this people calling me like disabled, all this kind of labels I've been getting, I've now changed autism into a superpower. You know, I'm the best in the world, and I've got this superpower which only 1% of people have in the world, and I am the best in the world. And I since that day I've changed it to a superpower, and it's changed people's lives, it's changed my life, and I've helped a lot of people open up about autism. Mums and dads understand autism more. So yeah, that day in 2021 really helped me understand autism, and being on that top with that golden trophy just was like, I can beat these normal people. And that's kind of it in a nutshell anyways.
It's a big nutshell. It's a big nutshell. But
First of all, there was a sentence there. He said, well, I want to do the pausing stuff. I want to lift cars. That fucking sentence right there. I don't want to do the pausing stuff.
I got the look right when he said it.
Lift cars. I was like, what a sentence right there, right? Who decides that? Anyway.
That's the only choice you have in life. Either a poser or you lift cars.
But I have a question, right? So like football was a thing early on, right? And was there other sports that you guys that were into? Because obviously you guys are big guys, right? Guys your size in the U.S. are in the NFL, or probably where you guys are from, they're playing rugby or some of these other things. Was that in your mind before the Strongest Man kind of came about?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been quite into sports like football, golf. Actually, we're playing a lot of golf.
We see.
We saw
Happy Gilmore.
I've tried to play golf, right? Tried to play.
Tom's been playing golf a lot, and he's like, I'm amazing at golf. Every Monday morning.
New PB.
Yeah, new PB. Yeah. Oh, I just eagled the 5th hole. And like, no, you didn't, mate. No, you didn't. You've lost about 5 balls, and you didn't count them. But so when we were younger, we played golf, tennis, not at any level, but just like, and Mum and Dad had quite a decent sized garden. Relatively speaking, from where we're from. So we're out playing tennis, golf, a little bit of rugby, but it was more football we were all into. The rugby side of things just didn't kind of.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
That nobody discovered you two in rugby.
Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been good fun.
I don't know, bro. I think you guys have done okay. We're missing the old soccer and the football, shall I say, and rugby. But
I'm trying to think about these guys running at full speed and trying to stop them. It's like the juggernaut.
Terry Highland was a rugby player too.
Yeah, he was class.
And he was very good. And obviously, fair play to Terry. He's worn a few hats in his life, being a professional rugby player, the professional strongman, and then chasing his pro card with bodybuilding too. So that's the evolution of strongman for him. And what I've seen with you guys, you've just evolved. And only going off what you were just saying, Tom, the fact that, and going back to the autism, because I think this is a very good conversation to have, and I want to stay here for a little bit. The fact that, you embraced a lot of things that scared the crap out of you, right? And made you uncomfortable. But you knew that these things were, in your way and standing in your way to see the better version of you. So you done what you said. You set up lights, you had interviews, you set up all these different things to get comfortable in the uncomfortable. And a lot of people don't have that mindset. So, again, we're talking about the whole mindset side of things, right? But with Tom going through the autism, obviously we just heard that story, and there's a lot of things that I didn't know. So thank you for telling that, Tom. From the big brother perspective, how hard was it to see Tom growing up with autism?
Yeah, I mean, it's because you just want your family to be like happy and just safe and secure, and watching Tom grow up, it's funny because Tom's always full of joy. You see Tom. I described it the other day. Actually, I was speaking to someone, and when Tom was growing up, it was like autism had like chains and locked him up. That was his, like, he wasn't free. He didn't have that magic key to open the chains and let him go, because it controlled him. But now you see him, and Tom is one of the most carefree guys because he's embraced it. He's overcome that. He's like, this is who I am. Tom knows who he is, which is a powerful thing to know really who you are. So then he's opened up those chains. Boom, this is me. I've got autism. I'm also the best strongman that the UK's ever produced. I'm the strongest man on the fucking planet. So that's who I am. And that is amazing. So, watching him grow up, yeah, it was difficult. But I always saw joy, like the sport brought him, like any sports, like anything that Tom wanted to do sport-wise, he was going to be successful. It's just fortunate that we both found a real passion for the gym, and yeah, here we are. It's incredible to see, because it was such a. It was a rough time, but I'm trying to be an optimist, and Tom had to go through those times, because with an easy,
you got to find yourself, right? You have to get to that place where you're good with yourself, and nothing anybody else says to you really matters. It's about your family, and it's about how you feel inside, right? You got to get to that place in life.
Yeah, I think that's the key ingredient in life, isn't it? If you can have that, and that family and people you love and trust, and you can open up and be yourself with them, that's it. We all have to put a mask on sometimes when we're out in the public domain, because we have to protect our soul, like us. I think that's important. But when we're at home, and generally speaking, if we can be who we're supposed to be, and that's who the big guy there is, man. He's so good. It's just amazing to see.
From that knock on the door at 16 years old, and forcing him to go to the gym, I think that trajectory.
It all worked out.
Turned out.
I have a question from being the outsider guy, and obviously, like, you guys are hitting like a normal gym, right? Like, how is the training different getting into strongman versus a typical bodybuilder being in the gym? Like, are you guys doing the same kind of lifts, deadlifts, and these sort of things, right? Or because obviously I see you guys picking up cars, right? So how do you start training to pick up cars from deadlifts, right? So how does that work?
Yeah, picking up cars usually gets you in trouble with the police back home.
There's a few stolen cars around Scotland you can pick up, I know.
A couple police cars flipped, no big deal.
No big deal. Sorry, officer. just a fun one. But yeah, generally speaking, it is kind of, I guess, Monday to Thursday. We've got a gym back home, so it is deadlift, squats, overhead press. Your main compound lifts we do Monday to Thursday, and then we have a warehouse where we go to do our event stuff. So that's when we'll lift up cars, do yokes, log press, big dumbbell pressing, atlas stones, throws, whatever it is. We kind of keep it for that Friday.
Right.
Nothing you can buy off Amazon. Sorry, J-Roc.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, these guys' grip strength must be incredible, right? Like, because like I do jiu-jitsu and stuff, and grip strength is like a thing you need to really like work on. And picking up cars and giant boulders, I'm assuming that like the grip strength, and even when you shook my hand, the grip
wrapped
strength.
around.
Yeah.
just have a look. Show your hands to the cameras.
Meat hooks.
What are they? Do you have your hands measured?
No.
For gloves?
The one guy in Mark Felix, he's
Oh my gosh.
Mark's an A4 piece of paper, like from pinky to thumb. I think it's the full width. It's insane.
I believe it.
Mark Felix, and this guy is Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
How old is Mark Felix? Like nearly 60?
It's almost 60, yeah. 50,
yeah, and he does, oh my gosh, what's the hold?
The Hercules.
Hercules hold. Listen, I don't want to sound like a casual here.
The Hercules hold. What's the Hercules hold?
Gents.
So it's kind of biblical sense.
Can you pull that up, Tyus? We don't have the teleprompter. Okay. Sorry, Tom. Luke.
Was it Samson and the lions? And the,
when
you had to hold the pillars.
Yeah.
So it's basically that's two pillars, two handles, and you've got to stop them from falling, basically. So I think they're 200 odd kilos in each hand. And Mark is like
the king.
The king. Yes. Honestly, he's like almost 60 years old. And as Flex says, he's just like Benjamin Button. He looks incredible. Like, you would say, no way is that guy almost. He looks probably in his 30s. He is incredible. He's such a humble guy. He's a plasterer to trade. So he comes in, plasters, and then by weekend he's one of the best strongmen, or was one of the best strongmen in the world. And he's got just these massive hands, man. It's insane. But so that's a Hercules. So it's quite a fun event, to watch. But it feels like your shoulders are getting ripped apart. And that was one that like you kind of struggle with that mindset. It was like when it kind of, because you don't want to let go. You've got to let that like rip from your hands. So I think that's what happened with you. It was kind of you were struggling, and then Tom just let go, and that was like something with your autism. I think you had to kind of reprogram yourself to be, actually, I don't let go, and just you had some keywords. You spoke to a psychologist that helped with that. And
I was going to ask that. You guys have worked with sports psychologists, haven't you?
Sports psychologist, clinical psychologist as well, just to kind of understand how our head works, because
It's a real thing. To get the mind right before you're going into these competitions, right?
Oh, yeah, man, it's like
100%. Yeah.
you can see it though. You see it when you go into the competition, either like sink or swim, because there's over 10,000 people watching sometimes in these shows we do back in the UK, and like that's quite intimidating. You go out and you're like, oh wow, okay, if I mess up, and it's not just in front of Tom or like my gym buddies, it's in front of 10,000 people. It's going out at Christmas time to millions of people. But yeah, you've got to really be mentally strong to do that. And fortunately we were, but it's just understanding things, and it kind of really worked for you, I think, speaking to the...
Yeah, I mean, so I started clinical psychologist just before World Strongest Man 2021. Luke had been talking to her for a wee while, and obviously with me being autism, new things are a massive risk, and Luke was going back and forth, and he just said, look, try it. So I think I tried her for 6 to 8 weeks out of World Strongest Man, and for me it was a cheat code. It was made my mind unbreakable. I wrote on Facebook, I think 2 days before I went to World Strongest Man, Tom Stoltman, World Strongest Man 2021. Ooh. It was on Facebook so everybody could see it. And even Eddie Hall did an interview with me after, I think it was the first day of the qualifier, saying, I seen you wrote Tom Stoltman, World Strongest Man on Facebook. And that's how that's the confidence she put into me. And that was kind of that vision I had, was no one's going to beat me if I do my job and turn up there. And yeah, it was so powerful. I never in my life went to the depth she put me into the mindset, and it was a cheat code for myself.
Do you mind saying some of the stuff that you worked on?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't... She started... So the first few weeks was just understanding my autism, how kind of like certain things distracted, how I could improve it in the gym and stuff. So there was a lot of... It was a concrete thinking for myself. So going back to like when I'm so OCD when it comes to world. So like, Luke, maybe with the business, Luke might get distracted with that. But for me, it's like, you've got one job, that's World Strongest Man. So these 8 weeks, you're tunnel vision, you're black and white, and that's it. And it was more buzzwords. So for like Luke said with the grip stuff and that, it was like, be aggressive. So as soon as my coach would say to me, or Luke says, be aggressive, that's when my mind would switch, and I would literally lift anything that was in front of me. Whereas if it was like, right, you need to put your feet like this, you need to do this, you need to do that, my mind would be like, what the hell's happening? So it was like, be aggressive, switch on, and there was another one, and those 3 words, like by the 2021, I think first day in the final, I had the biggest lead anyone's ever seen in the final, and it was just seeing these 3 simple words, the kind of concrete thinking of, you've got sitting in front of you, you're picking it up and you're visualizing it. And visualizing was a massive thing that I learned as well, about visualizing how you're going to lift each thing. But yeah, the 3 buzzwords in that visualization was incredible. When she said that, be aggressive, she said, go to the gym, and someone said that, I was like, you're talking bullshit, like this is not going to work. But yeah, he said be aggressive, and it changed my life completely. Unbelievable.
Wow. Well, we've had a lot of athletes sitting on the sofas talking about, working with sports psychologists and people in that line of work. Excuse me, I'm not getting choked up.
I mean, to be the best in the world at anything, your mental game has to be there, right?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be on point. You have to be mentally disciplined and hardened into also visualization, right? Because like you were saying, a lot of fighters now have these type coaches, and it's like they're visualizing the fight before it happens, and they're visualizing how that's going to happen, and they're seeing it play over and over in their head. Also, the nerves, right? Like, the nerves can get the best of you, and so you're not pushing out to your fullest because you're mentally not there. So it's always interesting to me, and I like to surround myself with gentlemen like yourselves who have mentally pushed yourselves into being the best in the world at something. It's just an incredible thing.
And to add to that, before I choked myself to death, thank you for recovering me there when I was choking. That's my boy. He just jumped in knowing I was going to get my words out. To add to that, we've had athletes sitting in the same chairs as you that have had psychologists, sports psychologists. and when they're in the fight and they feel themselves losing, you know, whether it's getting caught up in the crowd, the big lights, or they've done certain things. Some they don't talk about; they keep it close circles. But some people will touch themselves. Like, you know, there's a guy, Diego Lopez, will touch his throat when he's fighting. It's for him to get back being present. Is there anything, you said buzzwords, is there anything that you do outside of that so you stay present, or is it buzzwords?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a lot of breathing as well. I think it's I actually talked to a new sports psychologist this year as well, and you know, like last year I didn't talk to a psychologist, lost my title, and then this year I talked to him. But this guy really kind of told me how to switch on when I breathe, how to switch off if I breathe as well, and it was channeling my kind of my brain and breathing and really understanding the breath work, because you know, when you're just breathing for the sake of it, you're not engaging with it, you're not kind of understanding your breath. So he told me it was just to do the visualization when I'm warming up and to really over exaggerate my out breath. So if I was getting a bit tired or, you know, losing a bit of kind of the mental clarity, it would be really just sit in the corner and just go so I'm actually feeling the breath and can feel it working. And again, that really paid off as well for myself.
Yeah, I saw online that you guys do some Wim Hof training, right? And I also saw some cold weather training. But that breathing training, that Wim Hof style, right? Like, it's so important, our breath, right? We just had Gary Brecka on recently who was talking a bit about this. But tell us a little bit about that you know, the breath, but then also like that same breath as you're getting in that. I saw the lake. It's like the Loch, I think they call it, or something. And you guys are going in there. That thing's got to be crazy, 20 degrees below or something like that, right? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's Tom. I mean, your breath. If you can control your breath, you can just control everything. Then, you know, it's like, you know, so in the cold water stuff, you know, one of the biggest dangers is going into shock. If you get dunked in the cold, you're
right,
and that's the worst thing you can do. You know, we can control everything that we have in our body. So it all starts with that breath, and that's what Wim Hof, when we were with Wim, that's what we did with him. It was that, like, it was a lot more deeper, I would say. It was more like going into like a trance state with Wim, which is one thing as well. So I think that's fantastic for allowing emotions to come out as well when you're in that breath work, doing that, just doing that, and then you get hold your breath, and I think we held our breath for like 3 minutes, which was pretty wild.
Wow!
But like, it just gives you that something solid to focus on, doesn't it? You know,
yeah.
Nothing else matters. All you're doing is controlling that through the nose, out through the mouth.
It's powerful, and you actually get a little bit high from it, right? Like, you feel the euphoric feeling that happens. And the focus, like you said, is a real thing. You know, we've been talking about this. I'm trying to get Flex on a morning program with these breaths, you know, because it is real, and it's charging your red blood cells also, right?
It's just so basic. It's so, we go back to like a few hundred years ago. It's like primal. It's like, what is the most important thing, and what we can do? It's breathing. Like, that's why we're alive, you know. So, you know, big breaths, and you know, that nasal breathing, that nose. We're all mouth breathers now, aren't we? That's which isn't a good way to be. You know, you see everyone taping their mouths up now when they're sleeping, and I haven't done that. I don't really feel like doing that.
I don't think I'd wake up.
I've done it.
I don't think I'd wake up.
I've done it. Your friends, actually, the hostage tape. Because I snore.
Not a sponsor of the show. Not a sponsor.
It was more so. It was more for the snoring in my girl, but you know.
Hey, this guy plugged in fucking non-sponsors you on the show. Yeah, bro. Come on.
Well, they could be a sponsor.
Yes, they could be. Hit us up in the DMs. Anyways, moving on.
Do you do much cold immersion, cold water?
Yes, I got a cold plunge in the house.
Oh, nice.
I have a sauna. I cranked that up to about 220.
It's exploded here in the U.S. Like a lot of people are now into that. I do this. I cold plunge as well, and do that whole breathing process through there, and it really is a clarity thing that, you know, I wish I would have found earlier in my life. You know, going in the Loch though looks a little.
It's next level.
That's next level.
I watch these guys because obviously you guys are a little further ahead in time than me. When I wake up, I look and I see both of these guys submerged with their camera phone, and I'm thinking, I've messaged you a few times. I'm like, how cold is that, bro? And he's like, you gotta come. So I'm definitely coming to see you guys. That's for one. But I'm gonna wait for warmer climates because
there you go.
Let me tell you, Scotland in the summer is still fucking cold. Okay, Scotland in the winter. Forget about it. But these guys, so I doing my research for the podcast. You guys have been in that loch since a very young age, so you've acclimated to that. Because I read that you guys didn't go on vacation to Spain or anything like that for years, many years later. But your summer holidays was spent in Scotland.
Yeah.
Is that Loch Ness, like where the Loch Ness Monster is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you guys are going?
Yeah. That's part of it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that was like when we were growing up. We didn't have like loads of money growing up. It was so we spent a lot of time going camping, and our mum, who she didn't like going to swimming pools. She didn't like chlorine, so it was always swimming in the lochs or swimming in the sea. So I remember, like, my summers were like, I was so excited. I was, Mum, can we go to the beach? Can we go to the beach? So she'd always take us, and like, I remember one time I looked down at my feet and my feet were like blue with the cold, and I was like, oh.
That can't be good.
Yeah, so I was thinking, I was like, I'll be fine. I'll just play more, whatever. And that was life back then. It was just simple, It was like, go to the beach. We'd have a little disposable barbecue, whatever it was. Mum was there. Sometimes Dad would be there if he wasn't working. He worked quite a lot. And Mum, we had five. There's five of us. There's 2 sisters, 3 brothers. So you can imagine the cost to, fly out to Spain. It was probably tens of thousands, to do that. So, like, a lot of our time was just spent around Scotland in the Highlands, which is where I find my peace now. Like, I find my inner peace, my joy, that wholesomeness. That's where I connect with Mum. Mum passed away in 2016. So when I'm going to the sea or the loch, seeing a sunrise, like, that's where I'm like, all right, Mum, how's it going? I'll have a little cry or like get a bit of emotion out. And then sometimes, that's when I just chat on camera. Like, it's just, things come up, in the cold water. It makes me feel like at peace and just have that reset, and I'm able to kind of function for the day ahead. Sometimes, like, if I don't go in the cold water, like, the guys at work that we work with or in the office, they'll know that I've not been in because I'm a little bit grumpy,
pissed off.
Yeah, a little bit pissed off, like a bull in a china shop. I'll be like, fuck's sakes, why is this not done? But if I've been in the cold, I come in like just nice and chilled. Yeah, just zen. Yeah.
I think it's an attribute to the mindset and what you guys bring with you. Because I know for me, when I go in that cold, sometimes I'm sitting there negotiating with myself, like, all right, get in there. All right, get in there. But it's that mental, like, I'm doing it, and it's that mental, you're getting over something hard first thing in the day, or you're getting over something that's hard, and hard doesn't stop you because you understand the benefit of what it can do for you, right? It's that delayed gratification in some senses, right? It gets you mentally strong.
Just that little tick, isn't it?
Yeah, a little tick, check the box.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, I kind of check in now. It's like, how many checks have I done? Oh, I've ate well, trained really well, did the cold water, good day at work, spoke to my wife about stuff. Oh, tick, tick, tick. 5 ticks. Oh, that wasn't bad. I'm not so much of a fucking idiot as I thought I was.
I don't think that's the case.
No.
But what I will say about you guys is you've truly stayed true to your Scottish roots. A lot of people get a little fame. I had to come to the United States to chase that. Unfortunately, doing it from Wales was not going to happen. So I had to come here, do my thing, and I ended up moving here for my life to turn into what it is. You guys have done everything from the area you guys have been brought up in, pretty much, right? You've not changed anything. I think that, or you tell me, has that given you that local humble support to get you to where you are? Is that the reason why you stayed in the area and not moved over to the US? Is that balance part of the strategy to the greatness?
I think it has to be, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean, 100%. I think also it goes back to the mentality thing as well. I think, when we kind of first started Strongman, up in the Highlands, there was none. Like, we had my first Atlas stone was half a stone with these sharp things cut out, and we were doing an uneven floor in my dad's kind of old shed that he had, and we broke the concrete and we were deadlifting on like deficits and stuff. So whereas then we could have went to Glasgow, which had everything on their doorstep, and I think that was the kind of mindset, being from the Highlands, we were like, we're making this really, really hard for ourselves. But when we go to these places like Glasgow and the big cities, we'll step into a gym that's got everything, and we'll be like, this is easy. And yeah, the community for us is, I mean, it's unbelievable. I've always wanted to stay in the Highlands. I like the quietness of it. When we go to like London, it's all there's fog in your head, and it's just you're all right for a day or two. But yeah, proud from where we're from. We've got signs now, and it's Invergordon, home of the world's strongest brothers, in each entrance of our hometown as well. And I mean, if we were to leave, that would be.
You'll have to take the sign with you.
I know. Obviously we've got our merchandise office, our shop. We've got the gym. So we just want to try and make Invergordon a place where people can actually come, enjoy it, and know that there's being from there, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You don't have to travel to the States. You don't have to travel to England, Glasgow to do things. You can actually be rooted in Invergordon and be successful as well. And that's what we're trying to put that message out there. So.
Yeah, big time. It's like we're Highlanders. That's the thing. It's like it's a special place in the world. Like you've also Braveheart, Mel Gibson, all that stuff. Freedom.
Totally.
Giving it loudly and but for me, that's where my home is. Like I want to raise my son there. We live like all within 10 minutes of each other. So 5 siblings. We're all so close, and nowadays we're so fortunate, right? Because of social media, travel's so much easier now. So we can set up something, and with Strongman, we're very lucky that it's so popular in the UK. So it's people in the UK just love it. It's just like. It's like we did something the weekend there at Scotland's Strongest Man, and I think it was like a 75-year-old lady that bought a cat from us. She's like, I'm your oldest fan. But it's like having that, and then the demographic of that interest. You've got like great grannies, and then you've got like young kids really interested in it as well. And to be still in Invergordon in the Highlands is something that we're both, as Tom says, we're both really proud of, and hopefully it is showing other people from the area that, when I was growing up, I had the mentality that nothing should happen successfully from that area because it's a small town, so remote, nothing's going to happen, and we don't want people to have that mindset. We want to show people, young kids that are growing up, look guys, it doesn't matter if you're from here, make it part of why you're going to be successful. Yes, it's harder. You don't have all the glitz and the glamour and all the other stuff that can help you, but also you don't have anything to distract you. So if it's fitness, if it's sport, if it's strength, like immerse yourself in that. Like just do that, and then you'll be successful. It's not it's not rocket science, I don't think.
And get your ass in the lock every day.
I'll see you there.
I gotta ask, Flex.
What?
Is there any Loch Ness Monster stories?
I
had to ask.
Well, let's just say this.
I just want to.
The last sighting was when? Exactly when these fucking two were in.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
That answers the question right there.
That's every day for Luke.
I mean, it's Loch Ness is a cool place, man.
Yeah.
It's 26 miles long. Like it's beautiful. Oh man, if you guys ever come,
I love outdoorsy stuff. Flex loves that.
it's beautiful.
We'll avoid the cold one though. Yeah.
Well, so you mentioned Loch Ness. All the Scottish love to keep that alive. Any thoughts of? Or have you had anybody that's seen it around you? Or is that? I'm trying.
Come on, there's got to be some goods. Give us the good stuff.
Come on.
I wish. There's a guy that stays on the banks of Loch Ness. He's from England. He moved up in 1990, early 90s, and his life mission is to find the Loch Ness Monster. So he stays in a little caravan on the banks of Loch Ness, and I don't think he's seen it. So,
Otherwise,
He's been there his whole life.
He'd be a millionaire at this point in time.
keep going, mate. Yeah, keep living your dream. It's fine.
You ever be in that water and you're like, looking around as a kid, right? Especially as a kid, like you got to be a little bit scared of it, right?
Do you think the Loch Ness seeing them guys, they're going to hang out next
as
to
a
these
kid,
people?
as a kid, as adults?
I don't think they were small as a kid either, J-Roc.
Tom was 6 foot when he was born.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Poor man. But it's when you went.
Loch Ness is scary because, like, so you walk in for about 2 or 3 meters, and then all of a sudden it just drops.
Really?
So and it's dark. Like the water's dark, so you can't see below it. And I get petrified of obviously see what, like, if I can't.
That shelf.
Figure out, yeah. So I think the first few times I went in there, Luke was like, "Come do cold water." I was like, this is easy. And all of a sudden, bang! I was like, I just drowned, and I was like, this is
This ain't
So
it.
scary. It's all dark. And it's like
He didn't
anything. I know, but anything could be under there. That's like the Loch Ness.
The Loch Ness Monster's under there. I have seen that in there that there's a drop off and it goes really, really deep, and that's why they say the monster's down there in the depths, waiting to get you guys.
I'm sure it's there. We don't want to ruin Scottish tourism, so
It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
We've seen it.
Yeah, I was hoping that you said you'd seen it to increase the tourism.
we actually ride it. Tom lassoes it, and
That would make sense.
Gladiator style. Tom and Luke on the fucking back.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
I wish we had some footage of that, but
Yeah.
our camera dropped in the water, whatever. Yeah, so never caught that.
Yeah, don't worry. It's the one that got away.
Yeah, that's it.
Keeping the myth alive. You guys are always laughing and causing jokes. I mean, I've been around you guys enough. But who's the biggest prankster of you two?
Look, 100%.
I just
Telling the story of that spicy stuff and all that.
oh right.
Yeah, spicy.
Because I detest spicy food, but Spicy Stoltman's is her name. But yeah, he'll tell you a story.
Tom's really easy to prank though. He's quite, bless him. He's very trusting. So we got the Spicy Stoltman thing came from, we were at
Seen the tats, Jay?
the chilies and the the legs.
Yeah,
So
that's the catchphrase.
Spicy Stoltmans. But 2019 World's Strongest Man, one of the videographers found out that Tom found tomato sauce, ketchup, spicy. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, oh, just some ketchup's really spicy. So then she made a T-shirt saying Spicy Stoltmans. So that stuck, and then we got tattoos, as you do. So yeah, we do a lot of pranks, and I ordered some spicy stuff off Amazon and some really spicy sauce. We're making breakfast for Tom one day, fried eggs. So I put some really spicy stuff in the yolk. And then Tom ate it and he was like, oh, you got me, oh, spicy. I was like, oh, sorry, mate, sorry. I've got some chocolate. And ordered some spicy, dairy.
Oh, my gosh.
Here, wash it down with this.
Yeah, there's some chocolate, that helps you.
Evil, eh?
And then he ate the chocolate buns and they were really, it's like Carolina Reaper.
Oh!
Yeah.
It's vicious, bro. I don't even know if that's a prank.
I know that probably could have died, but I mean, he's here. It helped.
That's how you get explosive diarrhea.
Oh, shit. Unexplosive lifts, bro.
That's not nice. The spicy challenges, man. We just get tied to doing that. Which
I've
is,
seen. Yeah, tell us about this.
it's so we did one with Eddie Hall. Eddie's like, we're down in London. She says, oh, hey guys, do you want to? We've got a really nice restaurant booked for us tonight. I think, oh, nice steak or whatever.
You with Eddie too, by the way, so you know.
Yeah. So we're I don't know if it's nice, mate. So we got to this place and it was it was renowned for doing challenges anyway. And there was these spicy chicken wings. And you know it's bad when the guys come out in hazard suits and gloves. And we had an event on the following day, which was so we had these, and it was the spiciest thing I've ever had in my life. It was brutal, and Eddie was just pissing himself, laugh, whatever. But then the following day, you're trying to interact with people and say hello, but every 10 minutes having to go off to the toilet and. Yeah, it wasn't nice, but it's just that's a frustrating thing because we're not really that good with spices, and but yeah, getting Tom in pranks, it's funny. Sinead, Tom's wife, always gets him.
Frights every single time. Keeps my heart in shape. For
She jumps and frightens you.
she gives me frights.
Yeah.
So walking up the stairs, or she hides behind because she's only 5 foot, so hide behind doors. Screams at me, and it's some of the
Or if you're sleeping on the sofa, she's and
worst things ever. Man.
Is she filming every one of these too?
yeah.
She's probably got a catalogue of frights, as my wife does too.
She put about 20 of them on TikTok.
yeah. But you want to have. You just want to smile and have a bit of fun and just laugh, because it is quite a serious thing. When you're, as when you're training, it's serious. It's so mentally consuming. It's nice that we can have a bit of fun in between and just enjoy life. And it is something that we think about an awful lot training, but in the same time you have to make time for that, just little things in life, that daft things. And if I can get one over on Tom, because it's not often that I get one over on him in competitions now that he's
So that's what it is, huh?
I'll keep getting one over in competition. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
But you guys, and I've noticed this with a lot of strongmen now, with Brian, Eddie, Mitchell Hooper, Evan, everybody's got a big focus on the YouTube pages. And with the Strongman over the last couple of years, I've noticed people have blown up, not just by showing what they can do in the lift, by also doing stuff outside of the gym too, showing your personality, going around doing different challenges. And you guys, you've thrown yourself into so many different sports, training with different athletes. I love that, obviously. But you're not scared to try anything. And, dare I say it, make a fool of yourself in some cases, right? But then the food challenges, I think them are the ones that everybody loves, right?
Yeah.
But you guys have got your YouTube channels, the Stoltman Brothers YouTube channel, and you've got tens of millions of views, probably more. I've only counted up the tens. But the videos that you're putting out right now, again, was that hard? I think there's a double question here. Was that hard for you guys to have that new age mindset? Because, us coming from the UK, me growing up in bodybuilding, I was covered up. Dorian Yates mentality. You just go in, you train, you kill it, and then you get out.
Yeah.
And there was nothing filmed. There was no photos taken. That was the era I came from. Now, in bodybuilding, you have to post the fucking most muscular every day and show the world. You have to do a cheeky front double bicep. In the strongman world, these new endeavors and all these new chapters of happening. Was it hard for you being in Scotland, in the Highlands, to be creative and get on YouTube? Or was that a benefit for you? And then tell us how that has evolved in the last couple of years on your YouTube channel.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was the worst thing in the world. I think, obviously, when we started YouTube, I think it was, a few years, 3 years. And
maybe.
all I wanted to do was, I just wanted to lift weights. I didn't want any of that camera distractions. I didn't want anyone following my life around. That's what, obviously, having autism, I really did struggle with that. And you look back at the old videos then, I said 3 or 4 words max, and I let him do all the talking. And it's obviously changed now, but I think we done it because we knew we had to jump on this, the YouTube bandwagon back then. Obviously, with COVID as well, it was massive when we kind of started it as well. So we really had that advantage there. But man, it was really hard to have a camera in your face. Training was all right, but to see following your life around when you're like just sitting at home, chilling with the wife, doing stuff, that was really hard for myself. But like I said, we had to do it, and I kind of took to it quite quickly. The good thing about it, we had each other, and we could do all these kind of jokes we had with each other. We did a lot of filming stuff, but we tended to feel like people wanted to see, like I said, personalities. The eating stuff's massive, and yeah, now it's a thing we have to do every single day. We have to put our lives out there. But yeah, I really enjoy it now. But back in the first few weeks of doing that was how I think our first video was. Luke had a good idea. Well, Luke had this idea of going up to a place up in Skye, which is 2 hours north of us, and it was to go into like a was it like a teenage?
No, it was.
No, that's just it was right.
No,
I was fuming.
Hey ho!
It was we were going to stay the night there. Remember, that wasn't part. It was just in the Isle of Skye is like a really popular holiday destination in the summertime. So like accommodation was pretty scarce. We kind of booked it last minute, and the only place was a hostel.
But he was laughing his head off because he knew. Like as soon as he said that, I was like, we are not doing this. So anyway, we walked in. I had this room and it had I think like pee on the bed sheets. I was like,
oh fuck.
Luke walked in with somebody, but there was someone in the room that he was sharing with doing all.
He was just in his pants.
Yeah, he was just in his pants.
In his pants, and I don't think he had a shower for like.
I text Luke saying, let's leave this. So we just bolted out of there, and I mean, that was
because it takes like 3 or 4 hours to drive there. So we thought, right, we'll just stay for the night and do our filming the next day. There's a really nice place called the Fairy Pools, which is like a beautiful like river, and it's got these beautiful pools. So we're going to do a swim there. So we thought, we're not staying in this hostel because it was disgusting. And I'd been offshore for like 17 years, and some of the rooms offshore and the rigs were horrendous, but this was even worse.
Oh, jeez.
So we're like, right, stuff it, let's just go and do the filming. So we drove off to the Fairy Pools, did some filming, and then got home about 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, that wasn't very nice. But like, as Tom was saying, like with the YouTube stuff, it's like, so I had a job 17 years in the oil rig.
Yeah, I was going to speak about that.
So
what a tough job.
Tough job, man. It's like, and I was getting to the point in 2019 where I'd said to my wife, I'm not going offshore anymore. But I had to have something else to take that income in. So like, what was I going to do? So you look at like Brian Shaw, Eddie, you know, all how successful they are, and Half-Thor as well, you know. So they're doing their YouTube, they're doing their clothing, and how many income streams can you get? Like, and that's what I needed to be able to do to give up that. So we had a discussion, Tom and I. We said, right, we'll start doing some clothing. None of us knew anything about, so we had to learn how to do that. Then the YouTube stuff came on, social media, so we took on, so a videographer started working, you know, the usual kind of stuff. And then it just kind of, like, you know, the whole pandemic thing happened, and I'm like, oh shit, I've just given up a well-paid job to go full-time strongman. And then the strongman, we weren't sure we were going to be able to do any competitions, but like, fortunately, everyone was at home then, weren't they? So it was like more eyes on, views, and people were watching, and it went really well. And yeah, fair play to Tom. It was a struggle for you at the start. I would recommend go back and watch.
Don't go back and
the
watch
first
it.
couple.
Oh, we're going to put it on B-roll.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
He was like, he didn't say anything, and now it's the complete opposite. Like I can't say anything.
Oh, really?
He just shuts me up. He just keeps speaking, and
I want to be centre of the attention.
I think if you walk in the room, all eyes gravitate to both of you. But as you're a little bit tall, I think you know, you're doing well in that.
I think he's doing okay. Man.
Yeah,
I think he's
yeah.
got that covered. The big bastard.
Can I circle back on the oil rig stuff? Because it's very impressive to me that you became as successful as you were. By spending, is it 3 months on, 3 months off? Is that the timelines?
Sometimes I would do further afield. If I was overseas, I'd maybe do 3 months away. The last few jobs, I was in the North Sea. You can do up to 3 weeks, so it's usually 3 weeks, and maybe a week or 2 weeks off, depending on the contract or the project. So I worked all over. I was working in Angola, Nigeria, Papua New Guinea.
Wow.
South Korea was the last overseas project I had. So that was a year I was out there for. I actually flew back from South Korea to come back to compete at Britain's Strongest Man, and then flew back straight the next day after. So
They got gyms on the oil rig or
I was
what?
just about to say, what can you even do when you're on the oil rig?
yeah, I mean, there is gyms. It has to be, because you have to have some type of like physical activity.
Yeah.
But I think now health and safety, certainly in the North Sea in the UK, you can only have up to, I think, 35 kilo dumbbells. So it's at 70 pounds.
Yeah,
75.
yeah,
so,
thereabouts.
but I used to always take out like resistance bands with me, so I could deadlift more. So you'd stand in the resistance bands, get more resistance. But in the North Sea, it's very stormy. So I'd be on like an accommodation barge, and like the storms would come in, and it'd be like, and like, honestly, man, it was just
Deadlifting, like, you know, one of them vibrating beds.
yeah. Or they'd just close the gym. You know, it'd be like closed for like 4 days because of the weather, and you were just stuck, just twiddling your thumbs. You're like, geez, I've got World's Strongest Man to prep for in like a month. Like, fuck. And like, you see everyone. It got to me because I saw everyone else training in like the best conditions, the best gym, and like in 2019, the reason why I stopped working, I said I wasn't going to work anymore, because Tom was got invited out to do like an incubator program out in Dubai for a month. So all inclusive, everything paid for, and I had to go offshore. I was out in this oil rig, so it's in bunk beds, you know. So I was in, fortunately, the bottom bunk, but the beds are like just so narrow, and my shoulder was over a hang in the bed. I'm on social media. I flicked on Instagram, and I see Tom in like Dubai Mall living his best life. I'm like, this motherfucker.
I'm quitting.
I'm done. Like,
I'm off to Dubai.
Yeah. So I literally texted or phoned Cushy. I said, look, Cush, I think this is it, man. I'm done. I don't want to be like 60 years old saying, you know, I've been 60 in the bar saying to the guys, that could have been me if I didn't, you know, if I wasn't working offshore, that would have been me. And I didn't want to be that person. And I wanted, like, by that time, Mum had passed away as well. So I wanted to, like, Mum wanted us to be happy, you know, not just do something just for the sake of it. So I was like, right, I'm done. I had a contract to fulfill back home up until March in 2020, and that was the last time. Like, when that day came, got my boiler suit, my coveralls, my hard hat, put them all in a garbage bag, and then chucked them in the bin, and that was me. I was so happy. Like, that moment, I remember saying to the guys, I'm not working offshore anymore. I'm done. Like, yeah, fuck, whatever, man. Yeah, shut up. What, you going to be a strong man? I was like, yeah, I'll be a strong man. And then, you know,
Here you are.
And you know, I thought when you said, "I'm done. I'm gonna get off this oil rig," when you said that sentence earlier, I thought it's because you run out of resistance bands. You fucking snapped them all. I mean, how many resistance bands do you think this guy went through? Let's be honest.
That thing was sick. That was a thick resistance band.
but just think of this, Rock, right? You know, as Luke said, you're watching all your competitors having the luxury of just turning up at a specialized strongman gym with equipment that they will be lifting on at X event, Giants, Worlds, whatever it is. And then here's Luke there trying to do what he can do on shaky ground at times, training for that show. That just goes to show your mindset and commitment to your craft, my friend, and trying everything possible and anything possible to get you to that next chapter. And needless to say, mate, I think that this is all plays part of... We've got two incredible, best of the best strongmen sitting on our sofas right here. Two different stories, too. Yes, the guys have come together and supported one another, but you have your unique story. You have your unique story. And I think that this is what makes this relationship so special because, you know, you've had to go through your hardships. Tom has gone through his hardships. And you've both kind of, at 2019, came together, you know, and you said Mum passed as well that year. Would you say that all that played a part to evolve both of you to then being more focused than ever and fulfill your goal of becoming world's strongest man, you know, British, the best in Britain, best in Europe?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like that. You need that. Like you feel pain. Like that's all part of pain, and like that's what I've realised. Not just this last few weeks. Like I need to feel pain to. Like you feel numb. You think you're doing okay, and you're just kind of coasting in life. You know, you're just like offshore. Like I was numb doing that. I was like, yeah, the money was, you know, I was earning money, but it was just numb. I didn't feel anything. It was like, yeah, blah blah blah. But like giving up that was like it was really difficult to do that. But when Mum passed, that was pain. Training's pain. Going through all this stuff. Tom growing up with autism was pain for him. And the more pain that you can endure, that's when the good times come. That's if you can keep going like, right, I'm going to wake up today, and if I can just function and get through this day, that's a win. That's a good one. I'm happy. And then once I start doing that, then I start to get more enjoyment from that. I'm like, oh, okay, actually, life is pretty cool. Seeing a sunrise, like walking out when you're like, our dad just planted 7,000 or 8,000 sunflowers in memory of our mum because her favourite flower was sunflowers. Seeing them blossom every morning, I'm like, life is pretty cool, man. You know, coming to Vegas to compete in our passion, in our sport. Life's not bad, you know, but we had to go through that. We had to endure that. We had to watch Mum for 3 years die from cancer and see the pain that she went through. That's like what we do is superficial, isn't it? It's not real pain. But when you get diagnosed with something like real, that's nothing. You can't get rid of that pain. No matter what, you take morphine, painkillers, that's done. Your life is, we were all going to die, but like when you get that terminal notice, you're done. And like seeing how Mum kind of held herself, like she was so stoic, so like,
So Scottish.
Just Scottish, just a solid Highlander. And that's what we've got to be now. You know, we can't give up, we can't stop because something's happened. Like we've got a job to do. We've got Mum's memory to fulfill and to keep going and to keep doing what we can do. And you know that's why Tom's going to win 6 times World's Strongest Man and be the greatest strongman in the world. That's why.
Love it.
What do you think about that, Tom?
100%.
Love it.
100%. You just put it out there.
Love it. 6 time.
Hey, you said law of attraction earlier, didn't you? You got to put it out there to believe it. You got to manifest.
Yep, manifest it out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mark
6
my
times to be the greatest strongman of all time. Be good.
Yeah.
3 more to go. Halfway there.
The fact you're only 30 is what
30.
blows
No.
my mind, bro.
When I was looking it up, and I was like, dude, he's so young.
He asked me, it's like, is Tom really 30? I said, yeah, he's 30.
It's wild. I wish I was 30. Jeez.
We all do. All of us that are not 30 wish we do.
Yeah. So it's so nice to be 30 again. Oh.
Can I just, on the back end of that, and this is not, don't excuse this as like a morbid conversation, because I think this is a beautiful one. You know, Mum got to truly bring up 5 kids, and you were saying about the summer holidays. And my mother also went through breast cancer 3 times. She's on the other side of that, thankfully. But we all thought we were going to lose her too. And that fear and that thought nearly had me go home, when I was here in the United States. In fact, they hid it from me because they knew I'd be on that first flight home. And my mother wanted me, just like you guys, to live your best life. So when I found out about it, it was actually my coach, Neil Hill, that told me, he's like, your mum is not good. I was pissed. I was mad because everybody knew and they didn't tell me. So they didn't expect my mum to take the turn that she did. I get home, she's in hospital. And what my mum told me was, I will fight this. Welsh mentality, Celtic mum mentality. I will fight this and I will be there for the Mr. Olympia. So the Mr. Olympia found out about this story, and not only was she there for the Mr. Olympia, but they put her right behind Joe Weider, second row. So I could see her on stage looking down, cheering me on. Full circle moment, for me to as you mentioned, that was a real fight. What I was doing, getting up every morning, was self-inflicted. Was it hard? Absolutely. But it was nothing what my mum and your mum went through. And you mentioned earlier about the buzzwords and stuff like that. Is that stuff that you use on competition day, something, maybe a memory of mum to get you amped up?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was, when she passed away, obviously she was my biggest kind of go-to person growing up. But I said to myself that I need to make a promise to her. So I said in 2019, me and Luke would be the first brothers to make World's Strongest Man final. 2020 I would podium, and 2021 I'd win. I said that in about 2018. So, and I was like, I don't want to break a promise, but I don't want to break a promise to the person I love the most. And again, manifesting that, saying that, and actually doing every single thing possible and like I said, it came true. 2019, first brothers to win, go to the final. 2020, podium in 2021, won my title. And that was the 3 years that I was like, this is where you're going to see the best Tom Stoltman. This is where I'm going to put what's happened to her mum and change it to the positive. Think about the smiles she was, she did me. I got tattoos of her to represent her, using that promise as fuel, as fire, to be like, she's there with me every single step of the way. If I break this promise, I basically dead inside as well. So I really kind of went to those kind of places in my head as well. And yeah, that promise was the thing that really got me through the prep for the next 3 or 4 years after she passed away. So.
Yeah, and like it's just that pain thing that really got me, because Mum said she drove up to the hospital. She was a maniac, man. She's got 5 kids, right, and we all live within 10 minutes of her. Like, Mum, if you need anything, we're here. But she drove up to the hospital by herself. She drove up, get chemo by herself, or there was one time she had to go and get, I don't know the medical term, but it was an injection in her spine to stop her from going paralysed, because the tumour was all over her body, basically. So she had to go up, get this big mad needle in her spine. She came back, and we didn't know, went and saw her in the evening, and she told me, she said, I had to go up to the hospital. Oh, it was quite sore. And she would never say things were sore. And I was like, fuck, that must have been really painful. And that story really sticks with me, because, again, what you said, when we're self-inflicted, when we're like hurting because we don't have we've got another rep to do, we've got another set to do. It's like, well, it's going to pass. After a minute, I'm going to be okay. Like, I keep going back to that thing for Mum, and like every time, again, that's what kind of gets me like riled up inside is Mum, family. Like, anyone doing anything bad to my family, that's my thing. Because I die. I was thinking that this morning, looking at my son go. I was like, oh mate, see, if anyone did anything to you, I would do anything to make sure you're happy in life. Like, and that goes to, like, with Tom, brother Harry, sisters Jodie and Nikki, my dad, anyone. Like, I would do anything for them, and that's my thing that gets me aggressive, I think, when I left.
I was going to say, calm down now, fucking hell. Calm it down, Luke.
I'm going to go flip your...
Going.
He was with my kid, I'm going to go flip your car over.
He was like, if anybody does anything to you, I was like, well, it's not going to happen. Don't worry. Hey, he's looking at me. I was like, hey, fucking hell, bro. I'm only fucking interviewing you.
But you're one of those guys. Like first time, me and Flex will work out a lot at the house, real casual. We're joking around, that kind of thing. But like, first couple times I went into the gym with him, he's a different guy. Like, it's a totally different kind of workout. There's no joking. It's not the fun workouts we do at the house. He turns into somebody else. It's a little different. He's a little scary. He's a little scary.
Little scary.
He's a little scary. Yeah. I mean, like anybody
asshole.
around us who sees him working out are like, what the fuck?
I
They're
just
scared.
I just took a picture of this guy. Now he's an asshole. I was like, hey, it's my job. It's my job. Talking of which, my bro. Talking of which, you know, with you being in the public, right? And for me, being as short as I am, I can kind of hide behind people if I'm out and about. If I get recognized, you know, I stop. We take photos. How hard is it for you, the guys, to just go out? You said there's only a few Chinese places, Indian places in your local village, town. How hard is it for you to do normal stuff without?
There's no hiding these guys.
actually,
That's for sure.
yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, it's not too bad where we're from in Invergordon because like everyone knows everyone there. It's one of those towns, you know. So it's nice, but like when you go to like a city, Glasgow,
London.
it's pretty wild. That like people do it because it's. Like, you see Tom walking and then me next to him, it's like two big guys, it's just Stoltman Brothers. Hey, boys.
Isn't it great in the UK? They do that when I go home. Let's Flex, fucking go! Bop, 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 bop.
It's mad. It's
Yeah, they
so
don't stop for the
mad.
photo. They just go past on the horn. It's great. It's great. Sorry.
It's so, but that's why it's so nice to do that. But it's, I mean, people, it's weird. I mean, again, we didn't ever think, and same with you don't ever think that's going to happen. And if people want to get a photo with us, then, of course, well, 100%, man. Jeez, it's quite embarrassing sometimes. Still quite kind of like not like that, but it's like almost overwhelming that people want to do that. You know, it's so cool. But I mean, long may it continue. I guess the more photos you get, the better job we're doing at kind of getting things out there in the profile raised and stuff.
Is there any celebrities that you've been shocked that came and said, hey, can I get a photo with you guys? That we were like, holy shit. But inside you're like, oh my God.
Arnie, I think. Arnie was.
Arnie came up and said, can I get a picture with you guys?
Just when we were competing at the Strongman show, I was doing a log press and he was like recording my log press. It was the heaviest log press of the day, and I was like, fucking hell, man, what's this? What is my life? Like, why are you recording me, mate? And then he's like, yeah, it's all in the head, isn't it? I was like, yeah, whatever you say. I mean, it takes a little bit of training as well, mate, as you know, but that was cool, wasn't it?
And even Sylvester Stallone, we met him in UK, and
it's my guy.
Again, you think like for him being such a high-profile guy, he was unbelievable. We walked in, I think his jaw dropped when we both walked in, and he was like, "These can be my bodyguards." We talked for 5-10 minutes and got a photo, and he was really respectful, and you know, a lot of people wouldn't think that of these high-profile guys, but he was unbelievable. He had time for me and Luke, which was really cool. But
he was such a nice guy.
But he's so smart. Like, seeing movies, you think he's a big guy, but like, what was he like?
He was, I think, well, back in the day.
Yeah, he was back. He's still like,
he's a bit older, but like.
He's only like 5'10" and a half, I think.
Just like when you put your hand on his shoulder, it felt quite kind of. I was like, please meet his slide, and then give him a pat. I don't know why I did. Don't know why I patted him like a dog.
It's okay because I did the same thing when you came in, and I was like,
yeah.
He's so dense.
Yeah. Like thick boy. But yeah, it's just. I mean, one of my biggest ones was Wim Hof. When I remember 2019-20, whenever it was, we wrote on the whiteboard who we'd want to do like collabs with, whatever, and obviously you were one of them, Flex, and here we are now. Yes, and then underneath that was Wim Hof. I just loved him, and we went out last year to film with him, and man, it was just what you see is what you get with him. Like,
you bring him to the Loch, you got to bring him to the Loch.
Well, we went out. He stays in Holland, so in Amsterdam. So we flew out there, but he's coming over to Scotland in November. So I think we're gonna hook up and do some.
Yeah,
What kind of
I've
stuff
seen
do you
him in
do?
some crazy Antarctica type stuff too. It's like he's doing some crazy stuff.
So you guys went out with him, right? What kind of stuff did you do?
him and Luke together were nuts, like the Scottish Wim Hof and the real Wim Hof. So, for me, so I like cold water. I love the hot and cold contrast. For me, that's what I do it for. I do it at night time. So when Luke said we were going over, I was kind of like, let's see how good this breathing thing actually is, because you can do it in your house and it's not as effective. But anyway, went over. As soon as we met him on the airport, he's just cuddling. Yeah, he's just in his sandals, shorts, going absolute mental. We were driving. He was interviewing and he had no hands on the thing, going all this expressions. I was like, this guy's nuts. Are we going to make it to his house? Anyway, we got to his retreat and like it was unbelievable. We did the breathing thing and I just laid down there, and like Luke said, it's the first round, it's just getting into it, then the second, third round more intense. We were, holding our breaths 30 seconds, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and he had his brother there who was playing the drums, and by the 4th round, I woke up, it was finished, and I thought he had amputated my whole lower half of my body. I was like, to my camera, what the hell's happened here? Like, I couldn't feel anything. I was crying with laughter. I was just like, Wim Hof has done something to me, but it was the most intense, powerful thing ever done in my life. And then the next day as well, we did it with these fitness people he was filming with as well. And like, again, same thing happened, but I seen 2 of the girls run out the room crying. One of them had a kind of like fit thing, and I was like, this guy is basically controlling people with just his breath work. And it was scary, but very, very interesting in what he was doing. I was just, it was just nuts. It was just like a big room of just people crying, feeling sick, laughing, running away. I was like, he was laughing his head off. He was, it was just mental.
I think, well, Wim, it's like anything to do with strength. Like as soon as we got there, he's like, Holland's really flat. And he's like, we don't have mountains, but now we have 2 mountains. But like he was doing all these, like he was doing bicep curls. He's got his own like...
It's like Flintstones on the trees he has it made out of.
All pulleys in it. But he's just, he's like 68, I think, or 65. He's expecting a little girl in 2 weeks.
What a stud!
Exactly. Like, mate, wow.
Fucking hell, them cold plunges been sparking the ball sack.
Yep. But he also,
Fucking hell.
he does the splits, didn't he? So you have to let shouldn't wear underwear, you need to let them hang free and stuff.
I've seen him talk about the direct sun on the nuts too. Yeah. I've seen it.
Well, I avoided that clip. I don't know if it was too graphic for my liking, but
I didn't see a visual. I just heard him talking.
Okay,
about it.
okay, did he? Okay, did he?
Okay. Cancelled.
Oh shit! Skip over that.
I just like how he's like almost in the set, like almost 70.
What a stud!
And he's just doing life. His message was really pure. Like that's what I really liked. And he's like, it doesn't cost anything. Go and jump in the sea. Go and jump in the lochs. Go and like cold water for inflammation, for like respiratory diseases and reducing the inflammation. It's amazing. It's like, you know, when I was younger, like, you hurt your arm, your granny would say, just go put some ice on it, put it in the water.
It'd be a kiss.
Yeah. It was like...
Bone sticking out. Yeah. You're good.
You'll be fine. You'll grow back.
You'll grow back.
Yeah. But yeah, well, he was a class. It's nice when you see someone that has that same energy on and off kind of camera as well. So met him, it was like, rah, 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 and then he's got this retreat place in Holland. And it was just Tom and I and our videographer that was with us. And he's like, right, guys, I'm off to go to my house. I'll see you tomorrow about 10 a.m. We're like, oh, you stay here, you make yourself at home. So he left us the whole place, and we were like chilling, playing in the gong and playing with his guitars. And he's got this cliff. I don't know if you've seen the jumping off the cliff and everything. It was class. It was just like very welcoming, and it was a really special kind of experience with him. So yeah, hopefully in November we'll hook up again with him and do some more cold water stuff, much to Tom's enjoyment.
Crazy things.
Yeah. Well, we've gone through the whole podcast, probably like the most non-strongman podcast you guys have been on for a while, I'm sure. And we've not talked about any feats of strength. And obviously our viewers, we've got a mixed bag of viewers. We've got people in business, bodybuilding, and everything in between. So you guys have broken many records. Obviously, I can give you the floor. Whoever wants to go first. Can you tell some of the viewers what you've done, feats of strength-wise?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's obviously the Atlas Stones.
Shocking.
Quite good at the Atlas Stones.
Quite good.
So it was, so I did so it was in Arnold's Classic. I think it was, when did I break the first one? A good few years ago. It was to break Brian Shaw's record of 265 kg. Don't really know pounds, but it's a heavy Atlas stone anyway. So I did that one, got it over, and then I think it was 2 years later, I had the chance to break it and go for 286 kg, which, you know, in strongman competitions, we go up to 210. So you're talking another 60, 70 kilograms on top of that. And that's probably one of my proudest records was did 286. I actually loaded it very comfortable as well, and I'm just going to be waiting to try and do a 300 kilogram Atlas stone. That is my goal, because for me, I think a 300 kg Atlas stone would be just as impressive or more impressive as a 500 kg deadlift. I think you look at kind of the athletes that can deadlift, there's a lot of athletes that can have it, and maybe in a year's time could deadlift 500k, but with an Atlas stone, I think there is only one person on the planet that can do that, and that is myself. I think, having the 286 kilograms, I've had that for 3 or 4 years, and I think the heaviest stone below that is about 260, 265 kg. So
Can I tell you how much this stone weighs? 631 pounds.
Bro.
631 pounds, bro.
Yeah.
People can't even deadlift that.
In my head, and I'm also thinking to myself, right, as I'm hearing you talk, and obviously you've been strongest man 3 times. Is it an advantage to be big in this competition, right? Because, we saw Darren, and Darren's an OG,
freak,
bro, right?
Yeah.
He's an OG, and he's 6 foot tall, right?
Oh, he's 5'6", fucking
Right,
10.
but is there an advantage,
being
right?
nice.
Because I know for like smaller guys in the gym, sometimes it's like less, like you have to go less far, and they can hit up a
Leverage.
little bit heavier. So is it an advantage or is it disadvantage having long arms, long legs, like because it's obviously different kinds of lifts, right?
Yeah, I think with like strongman is like size, so like mass. The saying is mass moves mass. So you got someone like Tom at 6'8". 400 pounds, whatever plus. That's a big man.
Yeah.
So he's going to move some massive objects, and then with Tom's wingspan, they're big, but relatively speaking, it's not abnormally big. Tom's just gifted in pretty much everything he does, which is really cool to see. But like Atlas stones for Tom, I always think in my head when I watch Tom doing Atlas stones, they're all the same shape, so they're all spherical. So Tom almost doesn't concentrate on the weight of them. It's just, okay, it's the same shape, I'm just going to pick up and do it. And he's not only has he done the heaviest Atlas stone in the world, he's done the fastest. I don't know how many. He's done the fastest 10 Atlas stones. He's done the fastest ones in World's Strongest Man. He's done the fastest ones in Giants Live. The Atlas stones is just incredible. When you see Tom
Flying.
it's literally
600 pounds.
No, at the World's Strongest Man, like, he had done all 5 stones and celebrating whilst somebody was on the 3rd.
I believe it.
like it's just
Unbelievable.
Man.
But you were an incredible presser with the logs.
Yeah.
I think you've done, what is it?
so I hold the
487 pounds British.
The most I've done in training is 228.5 kilos, which is whatever that 500 plus pounds.
Yeah, 500 pounds.
So the official British record is 221 kilos, which is almost, I think, over 500. I think
It's 487.
487. And then I've got like records in 150 kilos for reps, for repetitions in a minute. I think that was 8 or 9 reps, I think I did in that. We also hold the one arm, so we do these one arm dumbbell presses. So you've got like a 3-inch diameter handle, you pick it up onto your shoulder.
There's that grip strength.
Yeah,
It's like this, bro.
it's ridiculous. And I think we did 132 kilos
last year.
which is like probably 280, roughly 280 with one hand. So like, that's pretty cool. So anything pressing, and I guess because my arms aren't hugely long, I'm pretty good. I'm decent at squatting, but those records, I'm pretty chuffed to have them. I want to come back next year and give the world record a little tickle again, because I still think I've got Iron Bibby, who's a massive guy. He's just
Big presser, too.
phenomenal shoulder strength, just insane. But I think I can push him. I think that's because it's such a technical lift. The log press it's not just about shoulder strength. It's you got to get that explosive power in your legs, and I'm very explosive. So I think if I can, train for a few months just prepping for that, I think I can give Bibby a little run for his money, which would be pretty cool to see.
Oh, you two going at it, mate. If it was in the Royal Albert Hall, too, that would be incredible. I mean, that atmosphere there's, and just to let you know, the Royal Albert Hall is a theatre, world renowned. It's had the best of the best singers, orchestras, all been done there. It was designed to be acoustically incredible.
Beautiful.
So at the Royal Albert Hall, there was going to be a one and done strongman event, and to actually get a strongman event in the Royal Albert Hall was just a feat in itself. And the promoters, the people who run in the Royal Albert Hall, they're very particular of who goes in there. So, strongman coming in, all this heavy equipment coming with all this historic, history and stuff that's there. They were a little bit nervous about moving all this heavy stuff in. Let me tell you something, and I've heard this from so many different people. They were so blown away by the show that these guys done at Royal Albert Hall that they were like, when are you coming back? And we want to lock in a multi-year. The crowd broke the decibel record inside the Royal Albert Hall. And you can imagine, you've got operatic singers
Everybody
that
in
are
there,
breaking glasses when they're singing high notes. And then these guys come in, and I think it was Iron Baby that done it, right? And then they think they broke a record on Iron Baby when he went for a second attempt,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
But what an incredible thing! But just goes to show, and this is kind of like a nice segue into the fans in Strongman. I'm blessed to have the fans that I do in my world of bodybuilding and stuff. But what I didn't expect when I came to the first World's Strongest Man was how many bodybuilding fans are strongman fans, and then these fans in particular, like, they're just a incredible group of passionate fans that were standing there at 5 o'clock in the morning 2 years ago in the rain in Daytona Beach, waiting for the gates to open to see all these guys coming in the buses and just to wave at them and wish them well and stuff. The fan support you guys have got, tell us about that.
Oh man, it's wild. They're so passionate. Like, they know everything. Like, these fans are just, I don't know what it is. It's like they get so invested. I think because I think it's attainable. Like, being strong, you can attain it. You can do that, and they realise, it's hard work. It's consistency. You just keep turning up, keep doing it, and they get so invested in, like, the personality aspect, and they know, like, when guys and girls come up and speak to us, they know everything about us. It's like, oh, how was that meal you had in Dalmore Farm Cafe back home? And like, how would you know that? But it's so nice to see, and without those guys, I'd still be working out in the rigs, and I wouldn't be sat here. And it's just so nice to see. And again, like, it's nice that the American fans, it's mad over here at the Shaw Classic a few weeks ago. It's huge there, but like the UK. It's just, like you say, in the Albert Hall, man, and we've got one in Glasgow in October, in the Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland. And the first year we did that, Tom and I came out together, and oh man, there was the bagpipes playing.
Goosebumps.
It was just and everyone can have a drink as well. So you can, like, combine that passion with a bit of alcohol, and everyone's buzzing, man. In Scotland, it was just erupted, and again, you go out there and you think, I get emotional. You're like, we're just a couple of guys from a little town in the Highlands, and they're going mental, and it's so, like, overwhelming sometimes. You don't really appreciate it. And as Tom shared, with his story about autism, the amount of people that come up to him, families that come up to him and say, look, this is my little son, he's got autism, but he's starting to speak now, he's starting to be able to do life because of watching Tom and how open he is about it. And that's the amazing thing, you don't really start something and appreciate what changes you can have in someone's life. And seeing what Tom's done, and how open he's been, and the difference for families, that's a good thing. That's a real heartwarming stuff, and that's where we know that Mum's looking down, smiling, that all her hard work done, in getting Tom, like, the help that he needed and the support that she gave Tom growing up. That's it all paid off. That's the reward now that we're giving back, which is really cool to see. But yeah, the fans, man, it's so cool, man.
They come with gifts, dog. Even I got gifts, bro. They knew everything about me. They got me all, like, I talk about salt of vinegar chip crisps, right? We don't get them much over here.
Yeah.
But they found them. I mean, anything that they found online that I've talked about or a podcast, they knew. And, like, I got given gifts, T-shirts, and I was like, I'm coming back next year. And I did. And I got more gifts. You guys must have had some very interesting gifts, all right, from the fans, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's like they're an encyclopedia. They know everything. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, every single time I turn up, they're like, they know I used to go to, like, Walmart as soon as I come to America and buy sweets. So fans would be waiting at the door for me saying, oh, we got you a gift box full of Swedish fish, Haribos.
Oh, wow.
I'm just like, this is crazy. You don't see this in any other sports, it's just, and all the, and, like, you can just stand there and talk to them for 5-10 minutes, and, they gave me a gift, but you giving something back as well. But yeah, it's every single time I turn up to a competition, someone's always handing me sweets because they know they watch the YouTube, they know I love my sweets, they know I've got a sweet tooth, and you're like, this is crazy, man.
We fucked up, Brock. We didn't get Swedish fish.
This is unbelievable. So it's unreal. And I love it how it's such an age range from like 2-3 years old all the way up to 78-year-olds, and every single person loves watching it because it's an entertainment show as well, and it's unreal to see.
I'm excited to see it. This is gonna be my first one, guys.
Right.
You know, this will be the first time I get. I have a chance this Saturday, so I'm really stoked. You know, to go check this out live, and you know, I know I got friends and a lot of other guys, you know, who've never been before. They've seen maybe World's Strongest Man because you know that brand in the United States, you know, is really well known, but. A lot of new faces going to be there seeing what you guys do. I'm pumped up, man. All the pyrotechnics and stuff I see in the show looks awesome.
It's scary sometimes when those go off.
Yeah.
That bang at the end, whatever, and you're on podium, you're like, geez, oh man, give us a warning. But yeah, it's you get right into, you know, after the first events, you kind of started, you know, it's like, oh, geez, and then the crowd and everyone, it's like a lot of passion. And like when we compete, like all the guys, you know, we do give 100%, and you'll see us, you know, we're shouting, screaming, we sound, you know, we're quite chilled now, you know, whatever, but like come Saturday evening, ripping shirts off, you know, just getting really pumped up, aggressive, and again, as Tom says, that's what we've got to do, you know, you've got to get that, the same in process, sport, isn't it? Yeah, you just got to find it, but yeah, I was going to say, I don't know, like if with the fan thing that they're so passionate, it's because they have quite a lot of access to us, so like, I don't know what, like in your bodybuilding, obviously, you got to do the meet and greet stuff and everything, so it's probably quite accessible to the fans in as well. So
I try to be all,
which is probably why that, you know, you're so well received. But like in like football, basketball, soccer, yeah, you can't. I guess I understand with the money and everything, but it's not the fans are like really invested in you because you have that personal connection, right? So
I think it's that blue collar mentality, right? Because like you mentioned, everybody can get stronger. You know, in bodybuilding, there's a big genetic component to structure, right? For bodybuilding, obviously there's a genetic component to strongman too, right? But anybody can get stronger, and I've seen fans of all shapes and sizes that have stood in line and took photos with you guys and been excited. Is there anybody being a fan that stood in line, because I can tell these stories too in bodybuilding that have stood in line for me. Is there anybody who being a fan, stood in line, took a picture, and now was standing next to you, competing against you?
There was a guy in Saturday, Scotland's Strongest Man.
Yeah, Scotland's Strongest Man. Someone called Chris Beetham. Our early career in Scotland's Strongest Man, he had gone through the ranks in Scotland with us. He took a photo with us as well, and yeah, he's now won Scotland's Strongest Man and going to be competing with us next year at Britain's Strongest Man.
That's incredible.
And it's nice to have
it's awesome. He's from Scotland too, so you guys inspired him to get in, right? It's awesome.
He's been doing it 8 years. Eight years he's been competing for, and this is like his kind of first year of like being like the strongest in Scotland now. And yeah, big shout out to Chris, man. He's a great guy. Was so happy to see him win. And then there was another guy that actually came fifth. We did a few years ago like a training day at the gym, and he came along to that just to try strongman, and that's him now competing. He came fifth in Scotland's Strongest Man, which is cool, man. It's it's nice to see that, and it is. Again, it's just get back to work, just get into the gym, just turn up every day, and like that's all we've done. It's nothing. There's no secret like sauce or anything, and I guess the brother aspect obviously helps, but yeah, it's just nice to see that next kind of guys coming up through the ranks, and because that's what we want. You know, we're so passionate about strongman strength in general, especially in Scotland. You know, it's like we need more Scottish guys, we need more Celts, we need that warrior mindset to come back to the nation and like just turn up and get it done. And
I love it.
And I think that's where the joy comes in. You know, if you're turning up every day getting it done, again, I said earlier, that's when you can check in at night, like, fuck, that was a good day, man. Yeah. Turned up, deadlifted a new PB, or whatever it is your
UPBs.
new PBs every day.
Every day.
That's the mindset there.
Well, in Wales, we've got Gavin Bilton. I don't know where Big Gav came from. He's not your cliche Welsh guy, that's for sure, mate. I don't know what test tube he fell out of, but, I'm very proud of him flying the flag for us Welsh guys there, and you guys are doing the same in Scotland. So in the last final question before we land the plane on this podcast, and there's Rockers and something else to ask. Outside of Strongman, what is the legacy that you want to leave on this earth?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's obviously the autism thing. It's while I've been doing the kind of Strongman, I've been changing a lot of people's lives, and that's kind of how I want to leave. Leave this. Trophies are nice, but I could die tomorrow and not have this trophy, but I could die and say like this: Tom Stoltman's the one that changed my life. Tom Stoltman's the one that got me out of the house, and that's how I want to be remembered. And yeah, if I can do that, then that's a massive bonus. Obviously, growing the business, growing our merchandise, having a HQ where people from around the world can come to the Highlands. But the number one for me is changing that kind of aspect of autism, saying it's a superpower. But doing it, I've already done it, but I want to do it on a bigger scale as well and take it into schools as well, because still to this day, I think schools are still far behind in it a lot, and there's not enough kind of education out there. But to have that, for me to be the blueprint of this kid with autism, didn't leave his house to now being excelling in this sport, and it's just, for me, it's just amazing that people can come up to me now and go like, what you've done for my child's unbelievable. Even just not just childful, but for men and women as well. So I want to leave. That's my biggest legacy, is to inspire people with autism, to leave this earth and hopefully change a few people's lives. So.
My man,
I think you've done that pretty much.
I think he has.
I think it's amazing to see. I think just in the UK and in Scotland especially, we've got like a real crisis with men's mental health. So that's something I kind of battle, on a daily occurrence. That's why I do my cold water. That's why I'm quite open about stuff. And like, it's amazing what you learn through just talking to other guys and like sitting down, chatting shit. Like, what is it that makes men like not happy, but just okay, just being able to function, and if we can do that, that's a good day. So like, just keep talking about, that's what I want to do, is try to get the government in the UK, or try to get more stuff done for men, because we get such a bad rep in life. Like, men, toxic male masculinity a lot of the time. Men can't open up, men can't share, men can't. I'd like to try and flip that and say that men can do that stuff. Men can. We don't have to all open up and share stuff. It's just looking at the individual and see how we can make things better. Because a couple of days ago we were driving down to Scotland's Strongest Man. There was a bridge. Someone was jumping off the bridge. A young man jumped off the bridge and took his life. So like, we shouldn't be doing that. So it's trying to find more joy and wholesomeness in life, and like by kind of being open and talking about that, I think that's hopefully a few people can kind of take that on and see a change and help them change. And yeah, as Tom says, just try and keep growing, doing mum a kind of mum's memory proud. That's the biggest thing, I think. And my little boy Koa, I just want him to grow up and be able to watch some of this stuff back and think, Dad's actually all right. He's a bit mental. He walks around in a robe most of the time, in a poncho and his flip flops. But and
budgie smugglers.
But Dad's actually okay. He's not a bad fucker. So that's my life now is my son, and making a kind of a life where he's happy and joyful and safe. And that goes with all the other guys in the UK. We want everyone to be safe and happy and joyful. And if we can give a little bit of that back, then I think that's not bad. It's not a bad legacy to kind of leave this world and say we've done okay.
Well, you've done more than okay. And you've got obviously plans for the future too. But Rock, anything you want to ask before we land the plane?
No, I just appreciate, what you said about us men, and, honestly being able to talk about our feelings, talk about things that bother us. That's what I have with Flex, our relationship. We talk about Diddy too, but we talk about a lot of things, and we talk about, I had to throw it in, but we talk about everything, right? And you have to have that. And I feel like with men, it's been hard for us in the past. We just bury everything. I was in the Marine Corps. I've gone through a lot of things in my life, and it took me a long time to be able to speak about them, to talk openly, to have friends that would understand, that I wouldn't be embarrassed to tell about things that are going on, and we have to have those conversations. And you got your brothers, I got mine right here. So,
On that note,
Nice one.
that's the way you end this fucking episode, right? With a first of all, like, how do I end this? it was one hell of an episode. We talked on so many different things, but suffice to say, guys, you truly have been incredible guests. Right? I really appreciate it. I should ask this before I leave. Is there anything you want to push, promote, talk about before we get off the show? The floor is yours.
I mean, if anyone wants to follow us, by all means, on social media, Tom and Luke Stoltman. We've got our YouTube channel, Stoltman Brothers. If you want to support us in our clothing, stoltmanbrothers.com. But yeah, just tune in Saturday evening, Giants Live. See Big Tommy and me do the business. Hopefully we'll get a new world record as well, which would be awesome.
And keep being spicy.
Keep being spicy.
Being spicy. On that note, this is Flex.
this is Rock.
And this is the Stoltman Brothers, the world's strongest brothers. We are out.